Can you imagine experiencing your life as easy and peaceful most of the time, even when things around you seem to be in chaos? It truly is a possibility. That is the gift of living with soul and ego in harmony, living in self-awareness without judgment. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is energy medicine. Now, here is the host of Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine, Traci Trimble.
Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Traci Trimble. Thank you so much for joining me today as part of my global community. As a bioenergetic therapist, a spiritual guide, and an energy worker, I specialize in treating both the cause and the effects of depression, anxiety, acute stress, and chronic pain, all from the perspective of the layers of the energy that surround our human bioenergetic field, from the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. My passion is teaching energy medicine such as Reiki, chakra balancing, and Hatha yoga. And my gift is not only to see through the layers of the bioenergetic field, but also my superpower is the ability to connect permission directly to the voice of your soul energy, whether it's quietly whisper, screaming out for help. I hear you. As a trained talk therapist, I have the joy of speaking with your ego energy, where it then becomes my job to guide and teach you how to bring your soul and ego back into harmony. And that's what this show is about each week. It's about the self-awareness without judgment. That's where soul and ego meet one another. And today is no different in terms of teaching self-awareness without judgment. But it is be a little bit different because I'm going to read to you today one of my favorite children's parables. Neal Donald Walsh wrote the book called The Little Soul and the Sun as an accompanying work to his conversations with God. It just so happened that the book Conversations with God changed my life. It was instrumental in getting me on the track to energy medicine, of trusting in a God outside of religion, and also believing in my own power to be able to not only create but maintain the life in which I know is my purposefulness. I want to read this book and I want to share its connection to you and for you with several of the key topic awareness that we've been talking about since April of 2018. If you've had the opportunity to listen to any of my 35 shows, every single one of them walks you through step by step developing self-awareness without judgment. Some of the key concepts have been things like minding your own business, doing your own work honestly, accepting the truth of perfectly perfect, knowing the difference between truth and reality, and finding love versus fear. One of the most important pieces I believe that I've shared is our soul contract. On November 16th, 2018, in the show called Your Authentic Self, I shared what I believe to be and feel I have much evidence to support is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, that we actually have chosen the reason why we're here. We said to Source, I want to sign a soul contract, go to that space and time called human being, and I want to experience something very specific through a series of lessons called feelings, emotions, experiences. And in all of that, we are what I believe is called doing our work honestly. If you'd like more about what doing your work honestly means, go to the September 24th, 2018 show, literally called Doing Your Work Honestly. I think that if we have the capacity to understand what this children's parable is about to share with us, that we will completely garner the wisdom that allows us to mind our business. And what that simply means is that if we are focused and content on being our true self, in accumulating the experiences in which we agree have, and we are allowing other people to do the same with kindness and compassion, then we are actually contributing to this space and time. We are leaving fear behind. Now, Mind Your Own Business is from June 13th, 2018, and Love and Fear is from October 31st, 2018. We'll talk a little bit more about the commonalities of each of these sessions once we finish reading the parable. One piece I'd like to put out there, which isn't always very popular, but I think it's also very important. I'd like to put it out there before we read the parable, because it's very important to realize that what is killing us is criticism and judgment. We are literally trapped in minding everyone else's business, but we have no idea where they've been, where they're going, what their contract is, so we could never possibly understand what they're playing out. Even more challenging if you aren't doing your metaphysical work, if you aren't trying to discover who you truly are, if you aren't trying your best to be in self-awareness without judgment, then it's very possible that you don't even know what your contract is. And the harsh judgment and criticism that you dole out onto yourself is causing harm and suffering that's completely unnecessary. So here's the piece that I want to share. Every single one of us has a mission. That mission is neither good nor is it bad. It's perfectly perfect. It's exactly what we agreed to. What others agree to is none of our business. We can't all be a saint like Mother Teresa or like Jesus Christ or Buddha or Muhammad. But we also won't all be serial killers or rapists and abusers. Although as society we've said one is good and one is bad, I'd like you to imagine if it is true that we all sign a contract, come to this space and time to keep the balance between shadow and light so that life functions, so that spiritual beings can continue to have human experience. We can't all be saints. We can't all be sinners. We'll be somewhere in between. But saint nor sinner is good or bad. We must have one to find the other. This is the yin and the yang of the universe. It's the balance that we're all striving for, shadow and light. So what I'd love to do is read this parable. But what we're going to do first is we're going to take a really, really quick break. When we return, we'll start in reading The Little Soul and the Sun. You're listening to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, PhD.
Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Traci, and I'm here to teach you metaphysical lessons in self-awareness without judgment. If you have not already found me on Facebook, please try my personal page, Traci Trimble, or my business page, True Path Consulting with E. Trimble, PhD. Now let's get back to our show topic, The Little Soul and the Sun. I would like to preface that I will be using the word God, which would be my choice of word, but I am using it because it's the written word in this book. But should that cause you any suffering, please feel free to insert a word of your choice as the word comes up. The parable's description is something like this. The Little Soul and the Sun is a full and powerful story that brings a very profound truth. There is no absolute good or bad. That underneath all that happens in the world, all that we call good and all that we call bad, is love. It's time to discover a God that we can love, because God is love, as are all the little souls who are part of God. This gives us the chance to rediscover who we really are. And it begins like this. Once upon no time, there was a little soul who said, God, I know who I am. And God said, that's wonderful. Who are you? And the little soul shouted, I am the light. God smiled a big smile and said, that's right. You are the light. The little soul was so happy, for it had figured out what all of the souls in the kingdom were trying to figure out. Wow, said the soul, this is really cool. But soon, knowing who it was not enough. The little soul's stirrings inside wanted to be who it was. And so the little soul went back to God, which is not a bad idea for all souls who want to be who they really are, and said, hi, God, now that I know who I am, is it okay for me to be it? And God said, you mean you want to be who you already are? Well, replied the little soul, it's one thing to know who I am, and another thing altogether to actually be it. I want to feel what it's like to be the light. But you already are the light, God repeated, smiling again. Yes, but I want to see what it feels like, cried the little soul. Well, God said with a chuckle, I suppose I should have known. You always were the adventuresome one. Then God's expression changed. There's only one thing. What? Asked the little soul. Well, there is nothing else but the light, you see. I created nothing but what you are, and so there is no easy way for you to experience yourself as who you are, since there's nothing that you're not. Huh, said the little soul, who was now a little confused. Think it this way, said God. You are like a candle in the sun. Oh, you're there all right, along with a million cajillion other candles who make up the sun. And the sun could not be the sun without you. Nay, it would be a sun without one of its candles, and that would not be the sun at all, for it would shine as brightly. Yet how to know yourself as the light when you're amidst the light? That's the question. Well, the little soul perked up. You're God. Think of something. Once more God smiled. I have, God said. Since you cannot see yourself as the light when you are in the light, we must then surround you with darkness. What's darkness? The little soul asked. And God replied, it is that which you are not. Will I be afraid of the dark? Cried little soul. Only if you choose to be, God answered. There is nothing really to be afraid of unless you decide that there is. You see, we are all making this up. We're pretending. Oh, said the little soul, and began to feel better already. Then God explained that in order to experience anything at all, the exact opposite of it must appear. It's the greatest gift, said God, because without it, you could not know what anything was like. You could not know warm without cold, up without down, fast without slow. You could not know left without right, here without there, now without then. So, God concluded, when you are surrounded with darkness, do not shake your fist, raise your voice, and curse the darkness. Rather, be a light unto the darkness. And don't be mad about it. Then you will know who you really are. And all others will know too. Let your light so shine that everyone know how special you are. You mean it's okay to let others see how special I am? Asked the little soul. Of course, chuckled God. It's very okay. But remember, special does not mean better. Everybody is special, each in their own way. Yet many others have forgotten that. They will see that it is okay for them to be special only when you see that it is okay for you to be special. Wow, said the little soul, dancing and skipping and laughing and jumping with joy. I can be as special as I want to be? Yes, God said, and you can start right now, who was also dancing and skipping and laughing right alongside the little soul. What part of special do you want to be? What part of special? The little soul repeated. I don't understand. Well, God explained, being the light is being special. Being special has many parts to it. It is special to be kind. It is special to be gentle. It is special to be creative. It is special to be patient. Can you think of any other ways it is special to be? The soul sat quietly for a moment. I can think of lots of ways to be special, the little soul exclaimed. It's special to be helpful, to be sharing, to be friendly. It's special to be considerate of others. Yes, God agreed. You can be all those things, any part of special that you wish to be in any moment. That is what it means to be the light. Oh, I know what I want to be. I know what I want to be, the little announced with great excitement. I want to be the part of special called forgiving. Isn't it special to be forgiving? Oh, yes, God assured the little soul. That is very special. Okay, said the little soul. That's what I want to be. I want to be forgiving. I want to experience myself as that. Good, said God. But there's something that you should know. The little soul was becoming a bit impatient now, and it always seemed as though there was some sort of a complication. What is it? The little soul sighed. There's no one to forgive. No one? Little soul could hardly believe what had been said. No one, God repeated. Everything I have made is perfect. There is not a single soul in all of creation less perfect than you. Look around. And it was then that the little soul realized a large crowd had gathered. Souls had come from far and wide, from all over the kingdom, for the word had gone forth that the little soul was having this extraordinary conversation with God, and everyone wanted to hear what they were saying. Looking around at countless other souls gathered there, the little soul had to agree. None appeared less wonderful, less magnificent, or less perfect than the little soul itself. Such was the wonder of all of the souls gathered all around, and it was so bright, their light, that the little soul could scarcely gaze upon them. Who then to forgive? Asked God. Boy, this is going to be no fun at all, grumbled the little soul. I wanted to experience myself as the one who forgives. I wanted to know what that part of special felt like. And the little soul learned in that moment what it must feel like to be sad. But But just then a friendly soul stepped forward from the crowd. "Not to worry, little soul," said the friendly soul. "I will help you." "You will?" said the little soul, brightened. "But what can you do?" "Why, I can give you someone to forgive." "You can?" "Certainly," chirped the friendly soul. "I can come into your next lifetime and do something for you to have to forgive." "But why? Why would you do that?" the little soul asked. "You, who are a being of such utter perfection, you who vibrate with such a speed that it actually creates a light so bright I can hardly gaze upon you. What could cause you to want to slow down your vibration to such a speed that your bright light would become dark and dense? What could cause you, who are the light that dances upon the stars and throughout the kingdom with the speed of thought, to come into my life and make yourself so heavy that you could do this bad thing?" "Simple," said the friendly soul. "Do it because I love you." The little soul seemed surprised at the answer. "Don't be so amazed," said the friendly soul. "You have done the same thing for me. Don't you remember? Oh, we've danced together many times. Through the eons and across all of the ages, we have danced. Across all of time and in many places, we have played together. You just don't remember. We have both been all of it. We have been up and down of it, the left and right of it. We have been the here and there of it, the now and then of it. We have been the male and the female, the good and the bad, being both the victim and the villain of it. Thus, have we come together, you and I, many times before, each bringing together the exact and perfect opportunity to express and to experience who we really are. And so," the friendly soul explained a little further, "I will come into your next lifetime, be the bad one this time. I will do something really terrible, and you can experience yourself as the one who forgives." "But what will you do?" the little soul asked, just a little nervous. "That will be so terrible." "Oh," replied the friendly soul with a twinkle in his eye, "we'll think of something." Then the friendly soul seemed to turn serious and said in a quiet voice, "You're right about one thing, you know." "What's that?" the little soul wanted to know. "I will have to slow down my vibration and become very heavy to do this not so nice thing. I will have to pretend to be something very unlike myself. And so I have but one favor to ask of you in return." "Oh, anything, anything," cried the little soul and began to dance and sing. "I will get to be forgiving. I will get to be forgiving." And then the little soul saw that the friendly soul was still remaining quiet. "What is it?" the little soul asked. "What can I do for you, as you are such an angel to be willing to do this for me?" "Of course, this friendly soul is an angel," God interrupted. "Everyone is. Always remember that. I have sent you nothing but angels." And so the little soul wanted more than ever to grant the friendly soul's request. "What can I do for you?" the little soul asked again. "In the moment that I strike you and smite you," the friendly soul replied, "in the moment that I do the worst to you that could possibly imagine, in that very moment." "Yes," the little soul interrupted, "yes." The friendly soul became quieter still. "Please remember who I really am." "Oh, I will," cried the little soul. "I promise. I will always remember you as I see you right here, right now." "Good," said the friendly soul. "See, I have been Sorry. Because you see, I will have been pretending so hard that I will have forgotten myself. If you do not remember me as I really am, I may not be able to remember for a very long time. And if I forget who I truly am, you may even forget who you are, and we will both be lost. And then we will need another soul to come along and remind us both of who we are. No, we won't, the little soul promised again. I will remember you, and I will thank you for bringing me this gift, the chance to experience myself as who I am. And so, the agreement was made, and the little soul went forth into a new lifetime, excited to be the light, which is very special, and excited to be that part of special called forgiveness. And the little soul waited anxiously to be able to experience itself as forgiveness and to thank whatever other soul made it possible. And at all of the moments in that new lifetime, whenever a new soul appeared on the scene, whether that new soul brought joy or sadness, and especially if it brought sadness, the little soul thought of what God had said. Always remember, God had smiled. I have sent you nothing but angels. And that is the soul and the sun. In my version that was republished in 1998, Neal Donald Walsh writes this: Dear parents and all lovers of children, the wonderful story gives children a new way of looking at why bad things sometimes happen, and a new way of dealing with things as they occur. This story also teaches that it's okay to consider yourself special and to let others know exactly how special we are. Finally, this story shows that everyone is loved by God in the same way, that even people we may not consider to be our friends are still God's angels in disguise, sent to bring us gifts, the gift in growing, in tolerance, understanding, and forgiveness, and the chance to be who we really are. This parable first appeared in a slightly different form in the adult book, Conversations with God, Book 1. And it has been retold in cities across the country where I've been invited to lecture or offer the pulpit talks in church services. And I've recreated it as children's book with these colorful illustrations in response to those comments. I believe this parable came directly from God, and I know that any child who becomes familiar with it will be blessed. And I thank you for loving the children enough to bring them this story. And as Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine, I want to say thank you for this story. And I want you to know from the depths of your being that this is not a children's parable. This is your chance to shift your perspective, to release yourself from the fear, to begin to do your work honestly, to discover who you're truly meant to be, to mind your own business and allow this space and time to be perfectly perfect. It's time that we take our second break of the show. When we return, I want to discuss exactly what this parable could mean to us as adults. We'll be right back.
Have you ever noticed that all of the radio shows that Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine, shares flow into one another, each containing a valuable nugget of aha? Just imagine that by listening to them over and over again, you will experience a deeper knowing of your true self. Have you considered gifting this knowledge, awareness, and love to others? please go back into her archives, pick your favorite sessions, and share them with your loved ones. As each of us grow more self-aware, the more beautiful, the more empowering this existence called life gets for us all. This is Soul Healing Radio Show with Doctor of Energy Medicine, Traci Trimble, PhD. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Our topic today is self-awareness without judgment, as it is every single day. Every time you reach out and listen to my voice, you are gifting yourself with the capacity to learn, to share, to heal, and to grow. And although this week we borrowed the work of Neal Donald Walsh as our topic, the gifts that we're receiving from it have the potential to be plentiful should you decide to really open yourself up to what I'm suggesting. So to be blunt, I want to put out on the table what I'm suggesting. I am suggesting to you that there is no such thing as good or bad. It's being created. We are either creating it or we're getting caught up in the perception because we don't know who we want to be, so we're just being whoever we're with. And that is no longer acceptable. You too are an angel on this earth. You are special. You have gifts, good, bad, beautiful, or ugly, that you were meant to share in this time. And I'm here to tell you right now that pain and suffering was not part of this. Our contracts do not have pain and suffering as a clause. We've created that. If we're coming here, we are either learning the lesson or we are being the lesson, which then in turn we are learning the lesson. It's chicken and egg. We don't know where it starts. We are the lesson and we are learning the lesson. The challenge is, as human beings, we've gotten so comfortable in living in unconscious incompetence. We don't know what we don't know, so we just don't want to know. That's come to an end for you. You wouldn't be interested in me if you were meant to stay in unconscious incompetence. You now know you are meant to be, do, and have better. Yes, it's absolutely possible that you know exactly what that better is and you're working through it. But you may not remember that you're meant to be, do, and have better, that you are special. So it's time to start paying attention to that. And I believe that each of the sessions that I have offered, each of the shows that are archived and are live, are gifting you the tools that you need to be, do, and have better. There is no magic pill because every single human being's contract is individually designed. It's all about what you're meant to experience. We have fear energy. They are all very specific and very unique to us. We've talked about this before, but I'll share mine again. Fears, my negative, non-beneficial energies, are disillusionment, vengeance, and blame. Without any awareness, trapped in unconscious incompetence for the first 35 years of my life, I lived those every moment of every day with complete unawareness that I was controlled and compelled by those fears. My ego had purposefulness, protecting me from those energies But in the desire and the need for that protection, for that role as an ego energy, I attracted to me people, places, things, scenes, and situations and scenarios that fed me those fears. Not because it was that which I was supposed to consume, but I did not know. I did not know that what I was supposed to do with that energy, with those people, those places, those things, was to be my truth, to use gifts for learning, to shine my own light. For me, I came here to experience balance, purposefulness, and passion. So disillusion comes to me so I can balance out the shadow and the light and be my truth. Vengeance comes to me so that I can be passionate, so that I can not only learn, but also be kindness and compassion. And blame comes to me so that I can remember my purposefulness, so I can be the light. Each of you have that fear story. Either has compelled you or you've become aware without judgment of it. When those people, places, things come to you, or when you're being, doing, and having those things, there's no judgment and criticism allowed anymore. Because you are perfectly perfect. You're just unaware. You're just acting out an unconscious incompetence, or even better, you're discovered consciously incompetent. This story's gift is to remind you that not only you, but everyone else on this planet is special. We were all brought here for a very specific reason. We have the capacity to learn to mind our own business with kindness and compassion. We will remember that it is perfectly perfect. We will release ourselves from the fear, but we will also find the love. Can you imagine what kind of planet this would be if we were all entirely focused, without criticism and judgment, on experiencing our own truths, and we were compassionate to others while they were experiencing their own truth? This is a different world altogether. What's wrong with this planet in this moment is simply one thing, and that's fear. The guilt, the blame, the judgment, the criticism, the shame, the anger, all of that is feeding the frenzy. When if we shifted our perspective, we could change that into self-love and esteem, into willpower, into creativity and passion, into a knowing that we are all safe, secure, and supported from within. And when that light from within us shines out, guess what happens? The world becomes light. We become light. And that's what I'm asking you to take away from this most incredible parable that Neal Donald Walsh gifted to the children. We are God's children, every single one of us. It's a powerful story. It brings us a profound truth. And that is that there is no absolute good or bad. That underneath all that happens and all that we call good and all that we call bad is the light and the love. And that's what we're supposed to be looking for. It's time to discover a God that you can love. Because God is simply love. The acronym for God is grow or die. We're meant to learn the lesson, grow from it, and find the next one, to accumulate exactly what we came here to experience. My gift to you is that you rediscover who you really are. Let's take our third of the show. When we return, I want to talk to you about what's coming up in the new year. How learning to be who you're meant to be is becoming easier for many of us. Thank you so much for listening to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, PhD. I am so grateful to be in service to you. If anything you've heard here today resonates, please feel free to share this with your family and friends. We'll be right back.
Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. The gift Neal Donald Walsh gives to us the hope that we will discover who we are truly meant to be. And I think that this moment, this day, is that opportunity for you to decide that you actually want to intimately know who you are. You surround yourself with loved ones, an influential other, an intimate love relationship, children, parents, family, friends, and you want to get to know them very often at a depth that you don't even know yourself. Please know that it's important to realize who you want to be, but also to who you've been, and again, without criticism and judgment. If who you believe you are isn't who you want to be, it's time to shift yourself out of that. And coming into a new year, especially this year that we're moving into, 2019, this is an excellent time to start this journey. This is the last year of a decade. Numerologists believe that the number 9 is representative of releasing the old, making space for the new. Rosicrucians believe that it's the time of destruction. Destruction is not at all what we think it is. It's a time when we, for once and for all, burn away that which is no longer providing nutrients. In the past, when we were truly agriculturally based, farmers would literally burn their crops to the ground. The ash itself, nutrients for the soil, renewing for a plentiful crop at another time. That's what right now is. As we move into 2019, it's a fire energy. It's the opportunity to get really clear on who you don't want to be and to stop being that. But also to discover who you want to be. This year, this 9th year, the final year of this decade, will support you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The energy of the universe in this last year of the decade is all about letting go of everything that you have created, processed, and learned that doesn't serve you, to make space for that which is to come. So gift yourself permission to truly and deeply decide that you are special, that you and everyone else on this planet is an angel, and that you came here for a reason. If for some reason you don't know what that is, you haven't been able to discover it and you'd like help, that's why I'm here as a spiritual guide and mentor. I offer a complimentary 45-minute consultation in which I share your soul and ego story. I gift to you with absolutely no obligation the 3 fear energies that have controlled and compelled you, that have been gifts that you didn't recognize. And should you choose to learn what your purposefulness on this planet, to channel your contract, it's an hour long. It's $129, and I too will gift that to you. Well, it seems like that's all the time we have today. As always, I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful to have spent the time with you. I trust that you got exactly what you needed from me today, but if for any reason you haven't, if you have questions, concerns, or ideas, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me at Traci, Traci, at tracitrimble.ca. If you're curious about what I do or how I can guide or mentor you, check out my website at tracitrimble.ca. And join me next week as we talk about the physical ways to create spiritual muscle. I want to share with you some easy ways to create new habits that are everyday, consistent actions, a practice of sorts that gets you to exactly where or who you were meant to be. We learn how to do stop and start. Daily practice for a strong toned spiritual muscle gives you what you need to move forward. Until next time, gift yourself permission to find self-awareness without judgment. Be soul, ego, in harmony. I'm Traci Trimble, Doctor of Energy Medicine, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Soul Healing with Traci Trimble, PhD. We hope you'll join us. Until then, give yourself permission to learn, share, heal, and